Bait and switch, a very common trope in media. That thing you're playing that's super cute, psych, it's horrifying and scary. You think this is what I look like? Nah, I look like this. Pulling the rug under the audience is a very easy and admittedly cool technique. It twists your expectations and makes you have a very open mind regarding anything you watch or read or play. Or you know, it can also make you paranoid. There have been many series and games that have done this incredibly well, and even when it's obvious it'll pull the rug under you, the build up to it is still incredibly cool. And one of the most famous bait and switches in the history of bait and switches, at least in my opinion, is the one and only School Days. Very heavy warning for gore, blood, red blood cells, stabbing, knife? Yeah, Apple. Now I doubt people nowadays know what the series was, but School Days was an adult visual novel game released in 2005, taking place in high school, where you play as a student named Makoto, in which you can choose to date certain girls. The game isn't the main focus of the video, but what you need to know is that the game was successful and it got many adaptations, such as a manga and an anime. If you do not want to be spoiled for this series, I recommend you stop watching this video entirely and go binge it. It's only 12 episodes. Although being real, I don't remember it being that good, and the only memorable part is the finale. The School Days anime was infamous for its final episode, both because it was pulled from airing due to real life events, causing a very famous meme, and also because of the content within the finale itself. The previous episodes were that slice of life romantic harem series that many of you probably watching are familiar with. The characters are fucking insufferable and made me lose brain cells, but it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. Even the intro is all lighthearted and happy. Now, even though the anime wasn't a direct one-to-one adaptation of the visual novel, which is basically impossible since those games didn't have multiple endings, it did keep many of its twists and turns, specifically with the darker tone and elements. To keep it brief, a big part of the story revolved around a love triangle between the main protagonist and two girls. Unfortunately for the protagonist Makoto, he's kind of an asshole and consistently cheats on the girls in probably the worst way possible. He almost gets one of the girls pregnant, gets upset at her for talking about it, and then casually just jumps to another girl like, bro, what? And if you're expecting things to just magically resolve, we have the finale, where said pregnant girl gets fed up with Makoto, stabs and kills him, and when the other girl Makoto was in a relationship discovers his body, she calls up the other girl, shows her Makoto's head, and then proceeds to murder her as well. And as a little final note, she rips out the girl's stomach to see if she really was pregnant. She was not. What the fuck? Now that's an oversimplification of the plot, but you can easily see why this anime kind of got a bit of a reputation when it premiered. It's not like this came out of nowhere. There were signs that you'll notice in the rewatch, and these sorts of endings are in the visual novel, but when it came to the anime, you bet your ass thousands of people watched this series not knowing that it had elements of, well, this. When I was younger, don't ask my age, I was too young for this shit, School Days was like the funny anime to suggest to people so you can get traumatized because wanting to watch a wholesome chill anime was just too much to ask for. Well, it was that and... but I'm glad it's been shoved down to the depths of hell now. School Days was famous for this exact reason. This was the 2010s, FYI. The anime premiered in 2007, but got official English subs 2012 to 2014, which was when I saw it being widespread. And I mean, it makes sense. This is obviously a generalization because I'm basing off how 8-year-old me saw things, but back in those days, anime was still for babies. It's anime, so it has to be for kids, which is something that is still felt today. But it, along with Attack on Titan and Sword Art Online, caused a shift to the perception of anime, that these sorts of series could be serious, dark, edgy, and really cool. Now obviously, these types of shows existed beforehand, but you know, the general population, they didn't get it. I'm sorry. Now, how does this relate to the video? Well, when something becomes incredibly popular and cements itself into pop culture, it doesn't just end there. People begin making parodies of it, memes of it, begin inserting it into random shit. And sometimes, those parodies can become just as big as the official thing. Case in point, School Idol Days. See? Everything connects to love life one way or another, although I'm not sure how to feel about this one. School Idol Days is a 2015 doujin combining the Love Life series and School Days. Illustrated and written by Killzip, this horror comedy series follows the second years as the love triangle ensues between them, with Katoi and Umi both falling in love with Hanuka. The series takes place while they're all school idols with Muse already being established, but you don't really get to see the other members, and for once in my life I can say that I'm happy that's the case. Umi confesses her love to Hanuka, Hanuka says yes, but Katoi is like, I want you, to Hanuka, and Katoi kind of traps Hanuka into it because she told everyone Muse that they were dating, so Hanuka was like, fuck! But guess what? Umi was secretly listening! After they go on a date, Hanuka's like, okay, I gotta tell Katoi to stop this madness, but then Katoi is like, what the fuck? I love you, Hanuka, and then gets stabbed in the shit out of her! Umi discovers Hanuka's body and calls Katoi up and is like, me at the rooftop of running trios, where she reveals that they're actually doing duos and shows Hanuka's body in her school bag, then proceeds to murder Katoi, and just as a final note, kills herself in the process. And if you can't tell by the tone of my voice, this shit is fucking hilarious. I'm so sorry, bro, but this is so funny. If you were young and watched Love Life and then read this, yeah, you'd be traumatized. But this is Sonic.exe levels of goofiness. Blood started pouring out of Katoi's eyes and she proceeded to murder everyone type beat. It's funny, and the author also knows this as they created a bunch of bloopers revealing that the entire story was just a play they were all doing, adding more goofiness to all of it. It also looks really beautiful. I've adored this artist's work for a while. They did some stuff for Genshin, but even back in 2015, their art was beautiful. They do a really good job at showing characters' emotions and when they're about to reach their breaking point. I think the cover art is the best example of this. I don't know how you make a piece this unsettling despite it being completely interpreted as a normal picture. It's like at first glance, yeah, they're smiling, it's cute. But then you notice the blood splatter, and all of a sudden, the eyes and smile lose that facade immediately. It's amazing. Every panel has these little ink blots that could easily be interpreted as blood spots, and it both makes the scene eerie, but also acts as a vignette darkening the scene. It's just really fucking good, man. Plus, this looks official, contributing to the reference because School Days seem like a normal show. To School Idol Days' credit though, they don't hide the fact that this series is gonna be fucked up. I'm actually surprised because during my research, I came across people that were shocked by the goriness. Like, I don't know, I'd be sus immediately just by seeing the cover art, but hey, that's just me. There are a couple of alternate endings made in the bonus chapter, where all of them love each other and it's a happy relationship, and one where Katoy publicly murders Umi, which is a reference to one of the endings in the School Days visual novel, I think. What the fuck, man? When I was in the Love Life community in 2018 to 2019, panels from the series would always pop up in memes, but they'd always censor or crop it to make some sort of funny joke. I don't have any records of these anymore, but it was entertaining to young me. One thing to keep in mind was that this was released in 2015, which if you didn't know if you haven't watched any of my previous Love Life videos, is when Love Life kind of blew up across the world. So that was really good timing, and like I said, the art looked official, so you could probably fool someone for like 5 seconds into believing this actually happened in Love Life. I used to be scared of this kind of stuff, by the way. Sonic.exe, Evil Mario, Ben Drown, this shit used to traumatize me back then. But now that I'm older, more mature, I can take this at face value and realize how goofy this all is. And it's very clear the Love Life community has the same sentiment, since so many parodies of this parody have been spread around, creating even more stupid-ass violent, gory situations that go beyond the original School Days reference. I just realized that I went for this video so far without mentioning the word yandere. Damn, times have changed. Y'all, this is crazy. I will say that this series definitely affected the perception of the second years. More specifically, Katoy as this yandere, and created a shit ton of memes that feel so dated now. Surprisingly, it did have like one piece of evidence in the official School Idol diaries, which he talks about Umi. The description is weird though. A crying Umi doll? What the fuck? Okay, so it's very clear that Kyozip enjoyed making School Idol Days, because 1 year later, in 2016, Kyozip would make School Idol Days S. The S probably stand for Sunshine, because this sequel series would follow the cast of Aqua. It would still focus on the second years though, because fuck those ghosts in particular. Now this sequel is a little special, because it actually takes place within the anime series, specifically episode 10. This doujin was released while Sunshine was premiering, being made in between episode 10 and 11, serving as an alternate path the story could take. While elements are still clearly inspired by School Days, it takes a more original approach to the events that occur, which honestly makes it the better one in my opinion. But plot summary time. You remember how in episode 10, Chika convinces Riko to go to her piano tournament? Well, what if Yo was actually there and heard everything they were talking about and got upset about it because it betrayed the dreams and goals they all made of each other? I actually really like how Yo is betrayed here. Is it accurate? No, not really, but I like how she navigates through her feelings. She's initially upset about both Riko and Chika betraying their dreams about becoming Muse, but then her thoughts slowly start focusing on Chika specifically for not telling her. They're childhood friends, right? Why is she being excluded like this? There's something so natural about how Yo gets closer and closer to confronting Chika, but holds off on it, letting it build up inside her more and more. While School Idol Days was clearly parodying the source material to the point it needed to heavily exaggerate personality traits, this one seems a bit more plausible, which being frank, makes it more creepier. And since we do actually see traces of Yo's jealousy kicking in episode 11, it makes it even more plausible that Yo could go in this direction if she lost it somehow and I don't know, develop really bad coping habits. After calling out Chika for holding info about the piano tournament, Chika and Riko come in to apologize, and it's here where Yo makes her conclusion. She's not special to Chika anymore. She's being referred to as everyone else, and blames Riko-chan for pulling Chika away from her. After realizing how she's acted, she realizes that this moment is going to forever be in Chika's memory no matter what happens. So in one final moment, she decides to double down by jumping off her balcony, getting hit by a truck, and hoping that whenever Chika and Riko are together, they'll remember this exact moment. And she smiles right before dying. Bro, what the fuck, man? The story doesn't end there though, and it's here where it does get kind of unsettling being serious for a complete second. Now, apparently, parts of the story were inspired by Higadashi when they cry, so I'm gonna assume everything from here is taken from that visual novel. After Yo died, Aqua actually disbanded and everyone went back to their lives. It's soon revealed that Riko's being haunted by Yo even after burning all the photos they had together. In her words, she's following me. And to Chika, she thinks that Riko is just mentally ill because that event could traumatize anyone. But looking from Riko's perspective, Yo's ass is definitely right there. After multiple breakdowns, Riko eventually moves back to Tokyo, where it's revealed that the hallucinations have gotten even worse to the point she can't take it anymore. Chika, acting oblivious, has to hear Riko jump off her balcony and instantly die. And in the final panels, Chika notices that the photos Riko supposedly burned are still there, with Yo suddenly appearing behind her, telling her that they're finally together. Well, that was something. What the fuck was that? Reading the author's notes definitely reveals certain things, like how they took a more original route and based it more off a J-horror style, which I think really works well for this doujin. It takes the creepy elements of seeing the characters we love become insane, but twist it into an actual story that can almost be independent from the source material. The ending still references an ending from school days, but it has that extra spice that makes it just realistic enough to place you in reality. I had a goofy ass time reading the original Squallow Days, but something about this one actually stuck with me. Sure, the deaths were fucking absurd, but the build up to them felt a bit too close to home. It isn't 0 to 100. You can see the exact moments that lead up to every reaction, what causes what. You can literally see Yo's bitterness transform in real time, and I guess it's more psychological horror, which is the one thing that always gets me on nerve. If you can even place the thought that something like this could happen in some shape or manner, that's what's gonna get stuck in my head. A haunted game cartridge? Okay, man. The haunted game cartridge making you think you see something in the corner of your eye almost everywhere you go? Okay, now that's fucking freaky as shit. I think the Aftermath chapter is the best example of this. Seeing Riko's mental breakdowns and hallucinations from the event is a very real thing that can happen, but to add more to the horror, we know that is very much real, contributing to the what if factor. Also, it's the fact things aren't explained. We get the creepy message of how the photos Riko burned weren't actually burned at all, and it makes you feel a little tense. Like, Riko clearly burned them because she wanted to get rid of everything, so why are they still there? It ends off with a classic horror trope that works because it leaves you with questions that will never be answered, and sometimes they don't need to be. Because that's the point. This is definitely a must-read for any Love Live fan that enjoys a bit of horror. Also, the art is beautiful once again. Every compliment I've given Kyozip is in full effect here, and I think the facial expressions have improved immensely. Every panel of Yo is just filled with this raw hatred that I've seen in memes so many times years ago. The switch to black text boxes helps give Yo's internal thoughts as raw emotions that aren't filtered in the slightest. She does not give a fuck anymore, and it's so clear. You can see the switch between when she hides her true emotions behind the group versus what she actually feels. Take this moment, when her eyes are completely blackened, asking Chika about how we aren't completely fine at all, before switching it to a conversation about the group, and you can easily tell that Yo was thinking about Chika and Riko when she said that. There's so many moments that make me appreciate this doujin more and more, and the one disappointing thing I do have to address is that via the author themselves, this is the finale of School Idol Days. No more, and that has stayed true for almost 10 years now. It got the bonus chapter of the bloopers and stuff, which had some for Sunshine, but after that, done. No more. And I won't lie, I'm really sad about that. I completely understand why they decided to end it there. As fun as it is to do, I'm sure there's other stuff that the artist wants to do. And looking at their Twitter, they definitely are doing other stuff, and it's nice to see them still doing what they love. Also, really quickly, shoutouts to the translation teams for translating School Idol Days. Shoutouts to, we still don't have a name's translations, and to Team Onibe! I keep forgetting you guys have been around for years now. Team Onibe history video? No, I'm playing. I would kill for another School Idol Days entry on Nijigasaki, Leela, or literally any of the other groups. I mean, there's some fan-made ones, but bro, you're not making me fucking read that. The artist is very easily capable of making good horror, and I think with certain groups, there's a lot of potential to dive into it. With Nijigasaki, that series didn't even need a School Idol Days entry for the jokes to come in, since we had an episode that gave Aimu the yandere personality for like half a decade. Silly as it is, Aimu's arc in the anime can easily be interpreted as obsessive to a dangerous point, and it does have a ready amount of build-up. Untapped potential here, guys. Oh, well, wait, actually don't do that. We're gonna get unfunny Aimu yandere memes for the next few years again. It's always the childhood friends, isn't it? I mean, it does create some natural conflict since you've known for years. Even more in Misa's case since they all grew up together. Back when Superstar Season 1 premiered, Chisato got shot as a local yandere target for a couple years. I've had this image in my friend's DMs for like 4 years now because the jokes were that rampant. Fuck, has it really been that long? God, time passes by so fast. This has nothing to do with the video, by the way, I just want to say that. School Idol Days serves as an interesting history landmark for the Love Live franchise. Parodying an infamous anime/visual novel, it would take the characters we know and love and do some of the funniest shit ever with them, creating something where the only reaction you have is, I guess, bro. Then it came with a sequel series that actually had more horror elements involved to the point it became an actual unsettling read. In the year of 2025, it definitely doesn't get referenced that often, and yeah, that's just how time works, but it was nice to revisit this interesting part of Love Live history. I know it gets a bit of a rep for ruining some perception of characters, but at least the series is actually good to warrant some understanding as to why that was the case. It's definitely something that was made in its time, and a part of me wonders if something like this should be made again in modern day. And the answer is, yes, do it. This stuff is cool. And also be funny as fuck. Spooky. Yeah, I got nothing else. I'm really busy this October, so next video we're gonna have is something we've been working towards for a while now. We did a whole 6-hour stream on it, and it may just be the scariest thing in Love Life thus far. That's right, we're gonna be doing the Love Life iceberg for real. It's gonna be long, it's gonna be epic, it's gonna be spooky. No, it's not. No, it's not. But it'll be fun. So let's dive into some Love Life for next time.